have Motley Crue back at Donington for the first time for far too long. So, ladies and gentlemen, Nikki Sixx.
I think we're going to do some photos first, Nikki. So if we can stand you here, do the photos, and then after a minute we'll start doing some questions.
Nikki, if you look here, please. Nikki, this way, please.
All 19. All at once? Scoop them up like that. Gotta get game porno.
Okay, we'll stop the photos. Nikki.
Check. Okay.
Okay. Stop the photos. I'm going to go straight to a question here. I'm going to hand you the mic and we'll pass it around. This is Sarah from Krang TV.
Hi, I'm actually from Scuzz TV today. Nikki, could you tell us about the forthcoming album and the book, The Heroin Diaries, please?
Yeah, I found the diaries a few years ago in a storage unit in Los Angeles. I've been keeping diaries since maybe 1978. I write pretty diligently every day, and during the height of my drug addiction, I think I wrote even more than I do now. There's a part of me that I had isolated myself so much from everybody, the band, my friends, that it became sort of like a friend to me, and I was writing all the time in it, and I was writing about the fact that I couldn't get off the drugs, and that I didn't want to get off the drugs, I did want to get off the drugs, and everything else that was happening in between, like picking out a jet for a tour, and then, you know, threatening to break the band up because they wouldn't paint it black. I mean, fucking ironic shit, where you just go, what an asshole. And as I was going through these and realizing how deep I got into the addiction, including writing after I actually had a drug overdose and died from it, and then went back and shot up the very same night and wrote about that, and then actually deciding on Christmas morning, a year later, for when I was shooting up in front of the same Christmas tree that had never been taken down, to quit, and I quit cold turkey. And I decided I wanted to publish that, and that was, for me, it was only part of the story, because that was telling my side of the story. So I talked to the guys in the band, ex-record company people, ex-managers, a lot of exes, ex-girlfriends, and I said, what was it like for you? And then they went in and said, you know, you were a fucking dictator, you were an asshole, or you were sweet, you were lovely, we were scared, we were mad at you, we were not mad at you, whatever they wanted to say, including my mother, my grandparents, people that were watching this person die. And then I felt we still weren't quite there, and I got to tell my side of the story. And then once we got to that, I gave those transcripts to a guy named DJ Ashba and a guy named James Michael, and they read it and they said, we have to score an album for this. And so we actually wrote a double album that goes anywhere from Danny Elfman-esque 80 string orchestra things to Bob Dylan-esque intimate moments where it's just singer-songwriter, to rock tracks. And we honed it down to 13 songs, there's 13 chapters. And the missing element for me was, now what do I do with this? And I figured if I could get enough people's attention, I have a charity for runaway kids, which is what I was. I ran away from home when I was 13 years old. I could get the money from everybody and I could give it to the charity and we could help the kids. So that's sort of the whole thing in a nutshell for me.
Thank you very much, Nikki.
Yeah.
Another question, anyone got a question?
Hi, it's Paul from Radio 1.
Hey.
How important is it for Motley Crue to be on Download 2007 as a band for you guys?
You know, we always like playing here. It's a good time. I like the tent that we're playing this year. I like all the bands that are out. We're excited. I mean, we love to play live. This is probably, there's only 2 more shows for us, and we won't be playing again until sometime next year, maybe '09, depending on how it goes on making a record.
Gil from Metal Hammer. There's always a certain amount of stuff that's weeded out through legal with biographies and autobiographies. Are there any sort of tidbits in there that we don't get to hear in the book that you can tell us now?
No, I'm definitely getting sued.
Really? All right. Well, if you can't answer that, can you answer this? Why 6 a.m.? Why not Motley Crue for the soundtrack?
It's not a Motley Crue project. It's a very personal project. It's something that I did with 2 other guys. That we are producers and songwriters, and we wanted to open the scope up. We didn't want to have to deal with, well, why did Motley Crue do an orchestra, or why did Motley Crue do this intimate, creepy Sisters of Mercy track? It doesn't sound like Motley Crue. So now, with it being a separate identity, no one can say that. They can either appreciate the music, they can like the music, or not like the music, and I think that's a healthier place for the music to be.